Hi everybody, thank you for tuning in on this Thursday evening. My name is Becky George and I have Becky George Designs. And I'm here today to show you how to do a fabulous finish on a frame. And it's Italian inspired, and this is my inspiration piece, one I had done before. And I love the detailing on it and just the overall crustiness, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. So if you want to take a few steps with me here, that would be wonderful. And when you're tuning in here, I will answer any questions after I'm done because I'm a one-person show here and it's going to take me a while to get through this. So I hope you enjoy this finish as much as I do. I am from St. Cloud, Minnesota, in case anybody is interested. And I'm just going to walk you through these steps. First, you're going to need some clean slate to clean off all your pieces. You want to get all the surfactants and all the gunk off of it and everything like that, in case you have pledge or anything like that that's been on there for years. You're going to need some cracked gesso to get that beautiful white showing through, and it just gives it a real authentic look. And then you're going to need some Knorr milk paint, which is fabulous, and it keeps forever because it's in a dry state. And then you're going to need, I'm using Summer Bonfire, which is a really pretty gold color. And then you're going to need some antiquing glaze to get some of that yummy stuff off eventually. And then you're going to need light wax and dark wax and some dust of ages and some containers and things in a tub of water so that you can do clean your seawool sponge with. And I always have some paper towels or something on hand in case I need them. And this is the piece that I am doing today here. I'm doing another kind of to match the other frame. I wanted a pair, and I'm going to do a piece of art in there. So let's get started, okay? First of all, you don't want to watch paint dry, so I did a black one step on my trim piece. And I always do a trim piece first to make sure that I've got the look that I want. And this is the cracked gesso, and I always let the cracked gesso dry overnight, so I did that earlier too. But I do have some here ready to go so that I can paint it on and show you just how I do it and how thick it should be for this piece. And if you don't have the one step totally covered, that's okay because we're going to chip some off anyway. So, and if your cracked gesso doesn't cover fully, I just want it to cover, but sometimes I can do 2 coats if you want a really heavy popping off of the gesso, which is kind of fun too. There's many looks that you can get, so just kind of play with it. I just kind of pounce it into all the crevices, stuff like that. So then I would just do something like this. Make sure I don't have too much puddling going on in the detail. And for the frames, if you want, for this finish, you want to have something with a lot of texture so that you can get this good look and everything will just pop off. So this is what it kind of looks like when it's done. Then I went ahead and I did half of the Summer Bonfire, so we don't have to sit and watch paint dry, which is okay, but you know, I like watching paint dry. And so then I'm just gonna mix the Knorr up 1-to-1, and I happened to mix up some earlier, just for the sake of time, to save some time here. And I always use a clean brush when I'm doing this so that I don't get any contamination from like the gesso or any other colors, because then you'll mix them. And just kind of go over it lightly because you don't want to reactivate the summer bonfire. If you do a little bit, that's okay. Just kind of pounce in a little bit. See how it's not really changing the color? And if you don't get every little nook and cranny, that's okay too, because it'll just add to the effect when it's done. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is one of my favorite finishes to do. And like I said, I will answer any questions later on after we get done with this video. And then just kind of cover it. Whoops. Just kind of cover it like that. See, I did not get all of in like the crevices, like right here. There's a couple spots that I did not get. That's okay. I just want like 95% coverage so that when I go to antique it, it will just pop right off. So, oops, finger stuck in there. That's not cool. Okay. And then this is the finished piece with the Nora all dried on it with everything. And I wanted to get to the fun part, so I kind of just did this. And if I didn't have it all covered, that's okay too, because it'll just pop right off anyway. That's why I got a rag here. So yes. So then I'm going to take, after that's all dry, and I usually let everything set a good couple of hours. Like I said, the gesso I let set overnight, just so that it is good and dry, and then you get a good reaction when you're going to put your milk paint on. It will not lift up. So then you take your antiquing glaze and you shake it up really well. And then you just put it in a container, and I just got a little bit here. Then I just I've got a bowl here already to go that I had my water in. So here we go. Move stuff out of the way. And just kind of dunk your rag in here. And I just kind of squeeze some of the excess out, go over one pass, kind of saturate it a little bit. So I'll start the process of the releasing of the milk paint. Okay. If you want to, you can take and you can squeeze some of it out too, and just kind of, you see how some of it's coming off already. And you want some of that black to show through, because you want all these layers to come out. And then you just kind of twist to get, I want some of that gold, yellow gold popping out through. Sometimes you have more yellow, sometimes you have more white. There's no real rhyme or reason. And you just kind of go where, on a piece of furniture where you think somebody's handled it, like moved it and touched the drawers and just kind of got your oil from your hands, your body oil on there and stuff, and it just kind of wears it away. And you don't want to do too much at first, because you can just kind of always go back and take off more. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dry it a little bit so that I can see how much I've got taken off of here. And I apologize, my dryer is pretty loud, so I do my best not to. Too much noise. Excuse me. Tickle in my throat. Apologize for that. And you'll see there's some of it that's already come off in the water. And you'll see there's some of the gold, the summer bonfire popping through, but I want a little bit more of that, so I'm going to do it again. It's long, it's a process. Just kind of take your time with it. I just like to practice so that I can make sure that I've got my proportions right. That way, when I go to do my frame or whatever else I'm putting on here, I'm not having to go and redo it because I've taken off too much or done something crazy to it. I like things that are timeless and that'll stand the test of time. Because you put all this effort into it, you want it to last. And see, like I think that people grabbed it, you know, like right around here, so I'll do more like in the corner here. And if you think you've taken off too much, sometimes when you start to dry it, it's not as much as you think. But sometimes it is, so. I always say practice makes perfect, and I like the uniqueness of things, so. This is a one of a kind. You'll never get another finish that looks like this exactly. So if you're telling somebody that you can get close to it, but you can't get exactly the same. Now I'm going to dry it again and see what I've got. See, I pulled some more of that gold through there. Hopefully it'll stay while I'm drying it. Completely dry, but see, if you want to do a little bit more of the gold on there, you can, just by dabbing your finger into the milk paint and just kind of adding. If you want to do a little bit more of the gold, the bonfire or the nor, just depends. I just want to put a little bit of the gold on here just so I see a spot, and I usually just take my ring finger and dab it in there. Just kind of go in a couple of spots. And I don't want a whole lot of the gold showing through, but I want some of it. Let's have a rag around. See, now I got a little bit too much of the gold on there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the nor. You really can't mess this up. A little bit too much of the black on there, so I want some of the black to show through, but I don't want it all to show through. It's just kind of a hit and miss. And see, that's drying pretty fast, so I probably don't even have to hit it. Let's see. I would think that it would be more and more at the edges, so then I'm going to take my sponge and I kind of just twist it to get it off, and I want to get, the white showing through. Okay. All right. See, I have you can see like some of the gesso's popped off. Just kind of blow it off. And I just kind of like the way that looks in there. And the gold almost looks like it could be like a little rusty. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to move some of this stuff out of my way so I don't spill. Then I'm going to take, it's not quite as dry as I would like it to be, but it's pretty dry. I'm going to take my light antique wax. Make some more space here. Now I'm going to take, I always have a separate brush for my light antique wax and dark antique wax. And I do not mix them because then it'll make a third color. And then I just take, so I can fully disperse my wax into the brush and offload, because I only want a little bit on here to protect it, and just kind of go over. Just kind of pounce into like the crevices here. Sorry, I have a tendency to hold this a little bit too close to me, and you guys aren't seeing it. Offload. Okay, that's all. You see how little I did put on here. It's not a whole lot. And then, so I want this to come to tack, and when it comes to tack, just kind of means that it's not real cold to the touch anymore and too sticky and waxy feeling. It's not dry, but it's not wet. So I'm just going to kind of fan it a little bit here to get it kind of to that point. Like I said, I'm kind of rushing here so that normally I would take my time. But I really want to show you this finish because I want to show you how easy it is and how you can do it too if you'd like. And it's really fun. To me, it's really satisfying to see that I've created something so beautiful that it looks like it was sitting around forever. Just kind of... So I use even less of the dark wax. I want to try and get as much off as I can. It's just basically around the edges to give it a little bit more grunge to where people have touched it. So I usually start and go off the corners. And see how that, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it just kind of adds a little bit of depth to it. And I usually just highlight the top where the raised areas are, because it just kind of shows it off a little bit more. There you go. You kind of see that? How that just kind of adds that depth. Just kind of make that come to tack. And then the last step, and I'm leaving this because it looks like somebody might have dropped it at some time. And I just kind of look like that look, because it gives it a more authentic feel to me. Then if I'm doing this, I just take it and put this in a cake tin. And then I'm just going to put my Dust of Ages on here. And my Dust of Ages, I usually let it sit. That's a dry brush. And tap it on. And then I just basically let it sit overnight. So it just kind of really gets into the wax as it's drying and curing. Because you want to kind of look like somebody has dusted it, but not really dusted it in the crevices. And so, you know how you get dust in the corners and dust in the nooks and crannies and stuff. It's just kind of, and I just kind of pounce it in. And like I said, I will usually let it sit overnight. And then for time's sake, I'm just going to brush it off. But usually, because you'll still get some of that effect. It's kind of dusty in here, and I would suggest wearing a mask. And if I don't want a whole lot of shine on my piece, I will just use the brush, nice soft fluffy brush. And it will not put as much shine as a rag on your wax. But you can definitely do it as much or as little as you want to. See how it just kind of highlights the edges and kind of brings it out. And see, normally I would just dust it a little bit more and bring that out. But I like the way this looks. And so this is the finished frame that I did, and next time I am going to put a piece of art in there for you, and hopefully you will like it as much as I did. And I'm going to turn this up, and see, I've got a little bit more of the gold in this one, the bonfire, so that really works. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and this live, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Have a great night. Bye.